Kids and cadets, welcome back to Tom to Time. Appreciate you coming out. Good morning. So, still kind of wet after Hurricane Debbie left southwest Florida. My front yard is soggy, so is my backyard. This just came back in about 30 minutes ago. We had done a video on this little Frankenstein. Guy bought it, it come back, he said it stopped running, so we got to look at this maybe in the next video. I had ended up priming the cover here. It had a flaking sticker, and then I spray painted it black. It looks a lot better, and then I did some Earl Scheib work to it. So I gave him another machine, Toro recycler with a Kohler engine. So the deal with this Toro front wheel drive, gentleman reached out to me, was going to buy another machine. I said, send me a picture of what you got to trade. He sent me a picture of this. This is the new Vortex design. So I had a discussion with my son, Vortex Technology. Does this thing do anything? Or is it just a marketing scam? You see, Toro learned their lesson. They had come up with this easy wash system, but now they don't. That Vortex system doesn't have it. You know why? Because this traps water. You can actually see this one bubbling up. This is a Craftsman, but the same design is on the Toro. So you got some rust here. This whole thing eventually will rust through. I've seen it. I know it. The new one here does not have that wash port. This is the model 21442, the Toro model. It's a 2021 new machine. Anyway, guy said it would start and stall. He brought it over. Nice guy. I pretty much figured out it was going to be fuel. I don't think he knew anything about non-ethanol fuel. So we're going to go through this thing. Kind of just looked at it up here, my tailgate. It looks like he's got Marvel Mystery Oil on the paper pleats, and it smells like Marvel. So let's go to work. 8 millimeters what I use. 8 here, 8s, and these are 7s on the inside. That's all you'll need for sockets on this newer plastic engine. 8 millimeter and 7. And then when you get the carb off, I've got a big flathead screwdriver to pop the bowl off. Maybe some needle nose or square heads to get the fuel line clamp off. And I've got my handy dandy 18 volt DeWalt. So I'm going to remove the recoil. This is just going to be a remove and replace. I'm going to pour the contaminated fuel into this old bleach container. Let's see what we can come up with. So I happen to drive by the Sarasota Fairgrounds. They're still staging electrical contractor crews there. I saw Pike and then some other out-of-state contractor. I couldn't read their labeling. There must be 70 trucks staging over there. So I don't know if we've had a lot of power outages in Sarasota County. I know flooding is an issue. Somebody told me that they had to rescue 500 people from homes. Okay, so that's off. Let's go take the carb off next. So it's going to be a few days before all this surface water evaporates or drains. This is my 8 out here for the sheet metals. So what else is happening? Oh, I had seen the tree crews. They were staging at the corner of Cattleman Road and Bee Ridge Road yesterday. But I'm sure most of the damage, or the extensive damage, is way north in the Big Bend area. So we'll do a video on that Craftsman that just came back, figure out why that machine came back. So the choke here is kind of sticky. We might have to take the stem off and maybe sand it down a little bit. It's not pulling backwards. The thermostatic wafer seems to have mobility, but this isn't moving. This is a secondary issue. I think we're going to find water in the tank and the bowl. So let's take this thing off as one unit, like so. Pull the carb out and then twist and pull, get the choke wafer off, and then the throttle linkage, let those hang. Separate my fuel line here. Give it a twist. Twist and pull. Okay, set that there. Let's redirect you to the top of the tailgate. So kind of looked in the tank of the Craftsman that came back, and it was full of fuel. I only send him out with enough to start, so I'm wondering if his fuel was contaminated. He said it ran for 15 minutes, stopped, and it would start and stall afterwards. So I don't know if it crapped out, he added fuel to it, and then he killed it with watery fuel. So that's a mystery. So this fuel that's coming out of here looks cloudy. There's some debris in it. Debris just keeps popping out of this thing. So we'll blow that out. But that's pretty cloudy. It's going to settle down here in a minute because I shook the shit out of it. It's going to show itself. I'm probably going to have a water layer down there. Let's go to the bowl. 7mm on the bowl. So basically you do an 8, take the everything with an 8 off, and then everything with a 7, and then the reverse when you're putting it back together. You only have to change your bits twice. Start off with 8s, go to 7s, and then 8s again at the end. Okay, my big screwdriver, kind of use it as a pry bar. get it started. I got a big air gap. Sometimes there'll just be a small gap. I have a smaller flat head to get it in there, but I could put Big Bertha in to pop this one. So let's look at the main jet. It's open, but I'm gonna pop the main jet out. You can either do it two ways. You can stick a small headed screwdriver in there and pop it up, but you could damage the gasket. So I use the small screwdriver as a pry, put it here on the main jet and just push up. I think that's the safer way of doing it. And so just by looking at it, the secondary jet's open. Main jet was not blocked. Oh yeah, I can see now. The darker liquid seems to be going to the bottom, right in this area. Well, look at all the garbage. You can see it up here. There was quite a bit of garbage, and you can see the corner here is getting all the sediment. So poor fuel. Like I said before, I don't want to take in a nice machine like this and stiff the guy on a low trade-in. I want to try to get the best value. Piece of shit that's 25 years old and falling apart. I'm going to take it as parts. But something that's a 2021 model year that looks fantastic, I'm not going to stiff the guy. I'm going to offer to get it going. So let's look at the choke. I just don't think that's moving freely. So I'm gonna remove this. Not that it should have a lot of wear on it. This thing looks brand new. So let's see what's going on. I'll remove the spring, get the spring tension off of it. Put that to the side. They really got cheap. You got a plastic wafer now instead of brass. I mean, that's pathetic. So straight up on this, there's some scarring up here. So you can tell this thing hasn't been around a lot. You still got your foam spacer there. Usually these deteriorate and fall off. When you get the rebuild kits for these, they'll give you a new sponge. So we'll put that back on, but right there you can see some grind marks. I'm just going to take some light sandpaper and smooth that out. And then down here I can see some scarring right there. So let me grab some maybe 220 or 440. for multiple reasons. Yeah, that seemed to help. I don't feel any binding, so let's put this thing back together. Put foamy foam back on, stick this back in. Grab my wafer. So the deal with the Camry is, I bought it off of somebody I knew. What had happened is, I think they ran it, and was on the interstate actually when it crapped out. It blew, a connecting rod went through the block, the oil caught on fire, and there was an engine fire. So I had to put another engine in it. So I'm upside down here trying to figure out why this thing. So I ended up buying another Camry that had been in an accident. And well, that wasn't good. Ambulance had rear-ended another Camry. So the whole backside was demolished, but the engine and transmission still ran. So I took the engine out, did all the gaskets, and then did some wiring work. The fire caused melted wire, so I did some hacking and slashing. So that little mishap here when I banged the DeWalt knocked everything on the ground. Now I can't find the choke stem. It's always something. Did you guys see where it bounced? Luckily I didn't snap the head off of the DeWalt. So where is this thing? Things aren't turning out as they should. Oh, brother. It's those little things that create chaos. It must have bounced pretty far, and it bounced into my soggy grass. Because if I can't find it, I can't show you shit. Looking around the tailgate. It's not right in front of me. Did it bounce somewhere? I'm gonna have to call it quits. I can't grab a magnet because this thing's plastic. That's not gonna help me. Here we go. Well, that was a disaster. Sorry about that. Try to fix something that causes more problems. So what do we got? It can only go on two ways. should be shutting more than that. I think that's it. It's got to be the cutout up here, and then your little point. Put the spring on, we'll put this thing back together again. No, that ain't it either. I need a break. So the spring fell off somewhere. I don't know how that happened. So maybe I'll need the magnet. So that's going to be a big problem. Somehow the thing went flying and I didn't notice, so it could be anywhere. At least we got the wafer on. Maybe I can continue on, steal a spring off of another machine nearby, if I have that style carburetor. Spring could be anywhere. Since I didn't see it fly off. I'll probably never find it. I'll find it in 3 videos from now. So fuel's the deal on this. For sure. Just cloudy, and there's a pool of dark, raunchy material settling down. So sorry guys, this is it. I mean, that spring is kind of tiny, and it could have gone anywhere. If it was loaded, so to speak, and bumped off, it could have flung 5 feet from where I'm standing. It's going to be something where I won't find it by the time you guys fall asleep. So just a quick look here. This was a disastrous video. Sorry. Been a disastrous few days. Put me out of commission with the storm for a couple of days. Really wanted to get back into it full steam. And then we have a springy dingy. Clucky. Did you see where it went? Okay, Snaky, you were closer. Anything from you? That's what I thought. Okay, this is it. I'm gonna steal one off another machine, maybe come back and do the testeroo. Sorry guys, adios. Tip your waitress and wait staff. That's my only choice is going to another machine and stealing it. Like I said, this thing could have flung any which way but loose. Yep, I'm gonna give up, otherwise I'll be here all day finding nothing. Okay, I'll come back at you. We'll try to finish this thing up. See you.